Time for my snack.
It was a bright and sunny day, and Donald Duck was picnicking. He had a big basket full of delicious treats, but when he opened the basket, it was empty.
LW Phooey, he cried. Someone had stolen all my food.
Meanwhile, Scooby and Shaggy were on a mystery. Donald was fuming. He was so hungry and determined to find the thief who stole his lunch. He marched through the park, his feathers ruffled in anger.
Just wait till I get my wings on whoever did this.
Scooby and Shaggy had stumbled upon something strange. It wasn't a ghost, but it was definitely weird.
Zoinks, Scoob! What kind of creature made those?
Donald was getting closer to the source of the giant footprints. He followed them to a clearing in the woods and gasped. There, in the middle of the clearing, was a giant sandwich, and it looked like someone had taken a bite out of it. Donald couldn't believe his eyes. He had seen many strange things in his adventures, but this was something else entirely. The sandwich was so big that it could feed an entire village. He wondered who or what could have made such a thing. As he examined the sandwich more closely, he noticed that the bite mark was enormous, much larger than any human or animal he had ever encountered. This was a mystery that needed solving, and Donald was determined to get to the bottom of it.
Well, let's just go home, Scoob, whimpered Shaggy. We can solve this mystery another day. Shaggy was visibly shaking, his knees knocking together as he clung to Scooby-Doo. The two friends had been through countless spooky situations, but the sight of the giant sandwich and the massive footprints had them both on edge. Scooby-Doo, usually the braver of the two, was also feeling uneasy. He let out a nervous whimper and looked around, his ears twitching at every little sound. Shaggy tried to muster up some courage, but the thought of facing whatever had taken a bite out of that sandwich was too much for him. He tugged on Scooby's collar, urging him to turn back. Come on, Scoob, let's get out of here while we still can, he pleaded. But deep down, Shaggy knew that they couldn't just walk away. They had a job to do, and mysteries didn't solve themselves.
Popeye had won the spinach eating contest hands down. He scarfed down can after can of the green stuff, his muscles bulging more and more. The crowd watched in awe as Popeye's strength grew with each bite. It was a sight to behold, and everyone cheered him on. Popeye's love for spinach was well known, and he never missed an opportunity to show off its benefits. As he finished the last can, he flexed his muscles, which now looked like they could lift a mountain. "That's the power of spinach," he declared, his voice booming with confidence. The other contestants could only shake their heads in disbelief. They had tried their best, but no one could match Popeye's sheer determination and love for spinach. The contest was over, and Popeye was the undisputed champion. But for Popeye, it wasn't just about winning. It was about proving that with the right fuel, anything was possible.
Popeye is strong to the finish. The crowd erupted in applause as Popeye struck a triumphant pose. His journey to this moment had been filled with challenges, but he had faced them all head-on. With his trusty can of spinach by his side, there was nothing he couldn't do. Popeye's strength wasn't just physical. It was also a testament to his unwavering spirit and determination. He had shown time and time again that no matter how tough things got, he would always come out on top. The crowd's cheers were a reminder of the impact he had on those around him. Popeye wasn't just a hero, he was an inspiration. And as he stood there basking in the glory of his victory, he knew that this was just the beginning. There were more adventures to be had, more challenges to overcome, and more spinach to eat.
With the music silenced, Woody tried to talk some sense into Alvin and the Chipmunks. The room was tense as Woody gathered the Chipmunks around. "Look, fellas, I know you love to sing, but you gotta respect others," he said, his tone firm but understanding. Alvin, always the leader, looked a bit sheepish. He knew that their constant singing had been causing problems, but it was hard to contain their enthusiasm. "We just want to make people happy with our music," Alvin explained. Woody nodded, appreciating their passion. "I get that, but there's a time and place for everything. You need to find a balance," he advised. The Chipmunks listened intently, realizing that Woody was right. They had been so caught up in their own excitement that they hadn't considered how it might affect others. It was a valuable lesson, and one they would take to heart. Woody's words had made an impact, and the Chipmunks were determined to be more mindful in the future.
"Look, fellas, I know you love to sing, but you gotta respect others." The Chipmunks nodded in agreement, their expressions serious. They had always looked up to Woody, and his advice meant a lot to them. "We'll do better, Woody, we promise," Alvin said, his voice filled with sincerity. The other chipmunks echoed his sentiment, their determination clear. Woody smiled, proud of their willingness to learn and grow. "That's all I ask," he said, giving them a reassuring pat on the back. The room's atmosphere lightened as the chipmunks began to discuss how they could improve. They brainstormed ideas, from setting specific times for practice to finding quieter ways to express their creativity. It was a productive conversation, and by the end of it, the chipmunks felt more confident in their ability to balance their love for music with respect for others. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but with Woody's guidance, they were ready to give it their best shot.
Just then, they heard a loud crash from outside the window. The sudden noise startled everyone, and they rushed to see what had happened. The scene outside was chaotic, with debris scattered everywhere. It looked like something had crashed into the side of the building. Woody and the chipmunks exchanged worried glances. "What in the world was that?" Alvin exclaimed, his eyes wide with shock. Woody didn't have an answer, but he knew they needed to find out. "Stay close and be careful," he instructed, leading the way outside. As they stepped into the night, the air was filled with tension. The source of the crash was still unclear, but they could hear strange noises coming from the shadows. It was a mystery that needed solving, and Woody and the chipmunks were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With their newfound understanding of teamwork and respect, they felt more prepared than ever to tackle the unknown. As Donald stared at the giant sandwich, he heard a familiar roo-row. Before Donald could answer, Popeye appeared, flexing his muscles and reaching for the giant pickle on top. S3, what's this? A giant sandwich? Looks like me lunch. S2, S1, S2, roo-row.
Well, blow me down. That's the biggest fella I ever did see.
He must be hungry. Let's sing for our supper.
The giant was so embarrassed he started to cry.
Ruh-roh, don't cry, S1.
Don't you worry, big fella. We'll have a giant feast and everyone's invited.
Seeing the giant so sad, Shaggy and Scooby decided to be brave.
Now hold on, partners. We gotta do this right. Alvin, you and your brothers round up some more food. The rest of us can set up the picnic.
Everyone got to work, even the giant. He used his enormous strength to set up tables and chairs. Soon, they had a giant picnic spread out under the sun. There were sandwiches, chips, fruit, and enough desserts to satisfy even the hungriest giant. S3,